And then I hit it like that. Wow.
Oh yeah, you hit it like that. Hey, welcome to the Toolshed. We're glad you stopped by this morning. We're hanging out in the Toolshed, brought to you by Schedule Engine. My good friend Eddie McFarlane. Hello,
Way
Eddie.
too much fun in the shed this morning already.
We've had a lot of fun in season 2. We've had great engagement. Lots of people reached out, and I appreciate that. And hey, this episode, it's going to be a good one.
Doozy.
You want to pull over and listen to this one. It's going to be a good one. And it's brought to you by our really good friends over at Emerson. We're thankful for that partnership, and here we go.
Hey, listen, if we got everybody's permission, we're just gonna be honest this morning. It's one of the things we promised at the beginning of Toolshed. We're just gonna talk honestly, and it might be a little uncomfortable for some of you because we're gonna talk about money mindset. Look. If you've learned anything over the last number of weeks, it's that you have beliefs and you have mindsets, and you didn't set them, someone else did. And man, if you don't think that's affecting your performance as a technician, as a craftsman, whatever, we're gonna unpack that and see if you still think that towards the end. But it's real, right?
Hey, here's why we got to talk about money. Here's why we have to talk about money. As a kid, your parents probably told you, listen, don't talk about money with strangers. Don't talk to strangers about money. And in the trades,
that's literally our job.
All we do every day is talk to strangers about money.
No, you want that? Ooh, that's going to cost you this much.
We got to talk about money.
We have to. And if we think we can have a successful career without getting good at that, we're only playing with 5 of the strings on the instrument, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I just made that up. It's a guitar analogy.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Coffee. All right. So before we get into all that, though, let's do our shout-outs, etc. Today, I was thinking the shout-out, I want to shout out, Stack Seating and Air Conditioning Ohio, Brian, the whole team. But really, what I want to, it's the organization. He's the president. Chairman of ACA. He's involved in, he obviously runs his company, but he's also giving back. And when I think of the organizations, and whether you're a plumber, electrician, roofer, they all have trade associations. I'm involved with the Air Conditioning Contractors of America, and they're just the guardians of the industry, and they're literally powered by involvement. And if the trades, whatever it is, if the trades have been good to you, man, give back. Get involved. And if you think the association isn't sort of on track, that's fine. You can get involved and you can join. They're always looking for volunteers. They're always looking for committee members. And for ACA, they've been a guardian of how to do it right for as long as I can remember. They literally wrote the book on how to install air conditioning.
They wrote the book.
It's about this long. They have manual J, they've ductwork. They've got how to size air. That was them, and they're powered by people in the trades. So as I was thinking of Brian and his team, I'm really grateful. If you haven't checked out Air Conditioning Contractors of America, go ahead. Awesome people. Just looking to make the trades better, and that's what we're all about here at the Shed.
They have a good conference. I met Eddie McFarlane.
Oh, that's right.
At an ACA conference.
That's
it.
So
we always got that.
We'll always have Charlotte.
We'll always have that.
No, it's good. Good stuff. Let's give away some stuff. This one, we try and we talk about the Toolshed, other being for a Trainer's Lonely Hearts Club. It doubles as the place you come to make every job just a little bit easier, and you do that by picking up a new tool, whether it's a communication tool, whether it's something to overcome a potential objection, or even just the way you think about things. We also want to give away actual tools, and so thanks to our friends at Schedule Engine and Emerson for making this possible. It's literally those people that are making it affordable. But today we're giving away a Fieldpiece expandable multimeter. And it's a multimeter, so if you do any work around electricity, good for all the trades, specifically good for us HVAC people, and they're really specific. They say really good for the HVAC and the R. So
And the R.
I'd like to buy a vowel, please. No, it's refrigeration. So it's expandable. So they've got all different kinds of fixings you can put on it. It's sort of like the transformer of multimeters. It's awesome, and another quality piece of equipment brought to you by the Toolshed and our good friends at Schedule Engine in Emerson. So that's that. So hey, listen, guess what?
You could do a commercial for them. They may start using that like a transformer of,
Beep, bop,
of the
beep,
tools.
beep, beep.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's. We'll probably just stick to
Doing what we do.
being in a shed on the internet, which is kind of how I think of the internet. Listen, hey, if you've been along the journey of this season 2, it's all about the huddle. The first season was all about spring training, getting a plan together, getting trained, and going out making the most of the summer. This season, it's all about the huddle. It's all about conversations and planning. And again, this is the huddle, but the game's out there, and you need to play the game. But if you've been with us for this season, you'll know of our good friend GHVACJess. She is out in the field doing stuff, but we were talking, and here's the GHVACJess Apprentice Tip of the Week. And one of the things that, as we were talking, she references is this: as an apprentice, it's okay to over-communicate.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right?
Yeah, you have to say, hey, tool shedders.
You think you just did? Jess, come back. We miss you.
Yeah, we miss you.
And so here's the deal. A lot of the time, as an apprentice, you feel like you're bugging people, right? And again, this has nothing to do with age. I started the career at 27. Been in the trades, I'm 47. Been in the trades a long time, but when you first start out, there's this idea of like, and this isn't really an apprentice thing. We've worked with lots of team members who are like, well, I don't want to ask too many questions because I don't want you to think I don't know what I'm doing. And like, well, if you leave me to guess and I haven't heard from you in a while, that's an issue. I would absolutely encourage you, if you get stuck, have a good crack at what you're trying to do, gather lots of information, but then reach out because people are here to help. Especially for apprentices, gather information so that as you reach out for help, you have all the relevant information, and whether it's your team lead or tech support, they can walk you right through that. But over-communicate. If you're unsure, ask. The rule is no mind reading, and so even if someone's giving you it once and you're still not clear, please over-communicate because there's safety issues as well. So great tip from Jess, and if you haven't checked her stuff out, HVACJess on Instagram, follow along her apprentice journey. She's just living her authentic life, being an apprentice and making the trades great. So it's super cool, and we're glad she's a friend of the shed.
Over communicate. That's a great
It's
tip.
Again, good advice for life, right?
Yeah, it really is. Right.
Awesome. That takes us to the funny stuff. Well, hopefully it's funny. I find it funny.
Let's see. As long as you think it's funny, then
that is the rule, right?
The rest of us will come along.
All right. Let's look at this first one. Is I'm hoping this isn't a bar somewhere, because I got to be honest. If I went to do what you do in a place like that, and I saw that, I might think it was time to go home. Go home, toilet.
Wow.
You're drunk. I wonder if they were getting paid by the fixture.
Maybe.
Yeah, that could be a new thing taking over the trades. We've had flat rate pricing, meet fixture pricing. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Speaking of fixtures, hey, I forget, what's the quickest way between 2 points?
Yeah, not that. Not that. And Don Gillis is having a fit right now.
He's on the floor clutching his chest.
He's like, what is that?
His really, really big heart is aching over that. And, maybe they just need to practice brazing, or there's I got nothing.
I think I can do it better than the way we've been doing that.
All right, let's take a look at the next one. Hey, boss, good news, bad news sort of situation. Good news is I found the problem.
Yeah.
Bad news is that one's going to stick. And so that's brought to you by your friendly neighborhood copper vendors, recyclers?
Yeah.
Artisans? Whatever the name is. All right, last one. Let's take a look at this last one. This is hilarious. At the end of the day, you got that last call, you're like, I know what this is. I'll just grab my 6-in-1 and my multimeter, and you're like, head off, you're all happy, and then, sure enough, that's the one that keeps you there till 8 o'clock at night. That's what you get. That's what you get. What are you going to do, right? Your truck knows.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, that's how it always works.
Always. And it never
Yeah.
fails. Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. And when you get there, they're like, yeah, it's been doing this for a week.
That's like when dispatch says, can you hit one more call?
It's on the way home.
It's on the way home.
It's a trap.
Hey,
Listen, we love dispatch. We love dispatch.
Yeah, we do.
Taking care of customers since 1908.
Very difficult job.
Oh, I would know.
Yeah.
I'm not built for dispatch.
Be nice to your dispatch.
Oh my goodness. You have to be really patient to do that. It's sort of like chess. I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
No. That's
You are good.
That's a fixed mind. I could practice more and be better at chess.
Lovely.
There you go. All right. Hey, speaking of our friends at the shed, hey, let's talk safety. One of the things I want to call out something that our friend HVAC Reefer guy did for us. If you remember season 1, he talked about heat stroke. He talked about hydration. He talked about I think 3 weeks in a row he talked about it, and it's almost like he knew what was coming. Because this summer we had record heat waves, and not just in the typical places, literally across the country. And as usual, we had some fatalities in the trade. We had some people with heat stroke. I saw a number of people like commercially up on roofs. It's not just an attic thing. And it's about hydration, folks. You gotta stay hydrated. My daughter's always, hey Trent, I'm drinking water, I promise. She's always like, Dad,
you need more water.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's what the coffee's for. And she's just like, no. And apparently seltzer doesn't count either.
Or Coors Light doesn't count.
No,
even though
that
it's
definitely
Rocky
doesn't.
Mountain spring water, apparently.
That doesn't count. Here's the deal, folks. Stay hydrated. And the one thing I want to say is we tend to think of that as a summer thing. If you're on the gas station diet plan, those Monster Energy, 5-Hour Energy, caffeine-fueled energy drinks, you don't want to know what they're doing to your kidneys. You gotta hydrate, even in winter. If you're on coffee and energy drinks, I'm telling you, listen. I drink more coffee than is probably healthy, but you gotta hydrate. Okay.
Here's how you do it.
How do you do it?
When the customer peeks out the window and you do the Jerry wave,
Which you should be doing.
lots and lots of times they say, "Hey, would you like some water?"
Look at that.
And you say, "I would love some water right after I do some work for you."
Oh, that's good. That's a great way of doing it.
And then you'll get hydrated throughout the day. Don't say something like, "Well, I just drank some water in my van."
Yeah.
Like they're trying to offer you some water,
That's
but
good advice.
to hydrate.
Yeah.
But it's a really good advice too when you show them those options that you pick up that bottle of water and drink that water while they're making their decision and you stop talking.
Love it.
All right,
Love it.
hey,
Yes.
Side note.
No, it's good. It's layers. It's layers and layers. Listen, stay safe, stay hydrated. It's not just a summer thing. And please, for the long-term health, this is something when you're young you can live without. But go ahead and hydrate. Work safe, be good humans. Thanks HVAC Reefer Guy for taking care of us this summer. All right, so listen, we had said that we were going to talk about money.
We are going to talk about money and how we view money and what makes us view money the way we view it. And lots of good stuff here.
Let's
talk about it.
Let's keep it real. Okay, did you grow up with lots of money, or
We were not flush. We middle class.
did okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was good with money. And my mom is good with money.
Hi,
and
Ann.
so that helps a lot, you know. And so
Yeah.
we didn't want for things, but we didn't travel to France for vacation either.
Right. Yeah, I like similar. Parents worked hard, and but we definitely are influenced by the way that you mentioned it earlier. Like, I don't talk about money, but even little things like as a kid, you sort of see your friends, new sneakers, fill in the blank, cars, whatever, and then you come home and you hear things like, well, we can't afford that. And the interesting thing about these conversations is they create these unintended frameworks, because we can't afford that, sort of like puts that as a finite thing, right? Like there's a finite amount of money, and instead of saying, hey, that's not a choice we're going to make with our money right now, right? And so there's these little things, and just like that elephant that gets held back by that childhood memory of a string, we carry that with us.
We do carry it with us, and we have to be cautious about when we're talking to customers about money that we don't bring those ideas that we have about money with us. And so, I love Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe Chryseri, yeah.
Uncle Joe says, like, leave your mother in the truck.
America's service tech trainer.
Leave your mom in the truck, which means, like, if your mom thinks one way and the customer, and they put that mindset to you, and the customer brings up an objection that you believe in, it becomes a real objection to you. Like if they say, "Hey, I'm going to shop around," and in your mind,
that makes sense.
You say, "I always shop around." Well, that makes sense. Guess what? From some way, the universe knows that, and you keep getting those same people that say the same thing because you agree with that. So you got to be careful and leave your mom in the truck.
Leave your mom. It could be your significant other. It could be the people that you're surrounded with. And here's what we want to unpack, because we're here for work. We're talking about life, but we're here for work. If you are allowing these default settings that you've picked up and you haven't intentionally reset them, when we talk about things like share options, that money mindset that you have is absolutely going to impact whether you give one, and it's always the cheapest one, whether you give three, how you shop. When you try and do something that isn't your genuine thing, it feels clumsy. And a lot of times when you hear people like us talk about, well, give three options, and that's not how you would, like, you got to understand what's going on and where these memories are coming from and how they're impacting. And it can cause you to poo-poo some of these suggestions from people that
best
know better.
Practices, really, because you don't want to do three options because you don't like to shop that way.
Right.
But like you
just want the cheapest thing.
Like, it's not your money. Don't sell out of your pocket. Don't offer options out of your pocket. It's their money, and let them choose how they want to spend it. Your job is to discover the facts and offer a solution.
Right.
And that mindset will sometimes get in the way of that. And so the best technicians, salespeople that I train or I know of, they understand this. They understand that that's not their job, is to influence how somebody spends their own money. You can't control the customer. You can only control the call.
Preach.
And so that's the way to do it.
I think true or false, we haven't talked about this, but what do you think the financial impact of a finite limiting money mindset is? Do you think it's impacting people's earnings 25%, 50%?
That's a really good question. It's more than 10%. I don't know if it's 50%, but it's...
If you had a limiting money mindset and you got over that and say you don't share options, or you never show the top tier line of equipment or whatever it is, do you think people could unlock that and double their earnings over a period of years?
I think they could double their earnings in the same amount of time if they were to unlock that. So it's really the best people at this game right here that we're talking about, the money mindset game, like the best people, they just remove themselves from the situation.
Absolutely. And
it's not emotional.
Nope.
It's just a transaction.
And here's what I've learned from it. You don't even have to change the way you do things. You just need to recognize it. Like, if you're a bargain basement kind of guy and you go to the Benton Dent and eat like straight out of the tin with no wrapper on it because that's your thing, awesome, muzzle tov. But don't take that in the call with you, right? Like, you can still be that prepper,
that's right,
waiting for whatever. But when you go in that call, I would say it's almost unethical to limit customers' choice to your mindset.
It's almost like this. If you try to limit what they can choose, it's like going to a restaurant, and one of those restaurants where the menu doesn't have any prices. Or you go to a restaurant where, like, the waiter comes over and says, "Listen, don't really look at these over here. You might want to stay over here at the lunch menu because the prices are a little better over there." Like, is that right?
I think, see, the only way you know what the customer thinks about money is to have a long conversation like this. And that's just weird, right? And that's impractical. So the best of the best of the best This is literally why they offer choice. They give something that's practical and affordable and value engineered. They give something that's a good middle of the road option. And then sure, they throw out the top of the line. Hey, some customers go with this. It's up to you. I'm happy to do all of these options. But you got to understand, if you don't think that your money mindset is impacting your performance and the way that you're ethically treating your customers, you're mistaken.
That's a fact.
I'm sorry, I'm getting off my soapbox.
That's
I got a little
good,
excited.
man. Preach it, brother. Like son
having
of
a little
preacher.
church up in the shed
like
today.
Son of a preacher, man.
I love that song. Original. So here's the second order consequence of that. I have seen so many people poo-poo other people's success and performance because, every once in a while you'll get an idiot like me, and I'll just go to a conference and I'll sit in a class like Jerry's and I'll go, okay, get ready. Say hello. Okay. Oh, just discover facts and make sense. Oh, what's that? Share solution. Okay. Review. And then, because I'm I just try it. And what do you know? Sure enough, it works. And when you've got a limited money mindset, a finite money mindset, and you see they're like, oh, that guy, and you see these people running off and they're making all these crazy average sales, and I've seen average sales that were triple mine. And, the green-eyed monster can show up, and you can start to be like, well, that guy's probably doing something shady. Yeah, and you start to valorize what you're doing. You give yourself some sort of sainthood complex, because I'm taking care of my customers.
Right.
Because that's how you would do it, and then you start to cause dissent and cast aspersions on someone else, when really they're just getting out of the way, giving the customers the choice.
That's all they're doing. I read recently about how people they get jealous when somebody has a little bit of success.
Yeah.
If you have great success, they're like, well, there's a reason why Lady Gaga's like that.
Yeah.
She's awesome. But the person like singing at the local bar, like you're hating on that person. So sometimes like we hate on that person that's doing really well. What they've done is they've just removed themselves from the money part of it, and they're just dealing with the customer.
And if I can armchair psychologize for just a second, it's because we never really see ourselves as a Lady Gaga. Well, like I'd never do that because we have a limit in belief.
Right.
But we see ourselves in that person to get what you've never got. They're pushing themselves out the comfort zone, and it's calling out our doing that. And so, the cognitive dissonance, we've only got two choices. We can either accept that, they're doing stuff I'm not doing. I wonder what would happen, or we can just attack it. I heard, I can't remember where I heard this, but we talk a lot about the golden rule, which is treat others the way you want to be treated. But what we really should be talking about, and I think this person called it the platinum rule, which is treat others the way they want to be treated.
Yeah,
right.
I've trained on that some. That's a good. It could have been me.
It was probably you.
But hey, that's
probably you.
Don't treat them how you want to be treated. Treat them how they want to be treated.
That's right, and that's right. And because we can't, that's why we have a system, and that's why we run a system, because we don't know how they want to be treated. And short of like a 100 question test at the beginning, we should just offer choices. So anyway, there's that. Don't poo-poo someone else's success. And then let's talk a little bit about how you get good at this, because once you understand this, we talk a lot about like this mastermind group, like surrounding yourselves. And we talk a lot about that. What's your thoughts on that, Jerry?
I remember about 5 years ago, I called you and said, I think I want to start a mastermind group. And you said, okay, count me in, I'm in.
That's it.
Because like those 5 people that you hang out with the most, they rub off on you. You show me 4 losers, and I'll show you a 5th loser if you hang out with them, right? Right?
That's true.
You show me some really successful people, and you go hang out with them, you become more successful. And so you got to be careful who you let into that group. And sometimes like you kind of got to love people from a distance.
Yeah, we've talked about that, right?
Yeah,
like there's definitely some people that will reinforce negative behaviors, negative mindsets, and success is an inside job, as my friend Jerry always says. And your job as an adult is to understand that you and you alone are solely responsible for what goes on between your 2 ears. We all have the same sort of 6.5 pounds of gray matter up here, and you are the driver. If you're not driving, who is, right? You can't be asleep at the wheel. So we talked about this, and the interesting analogy. Simon Sinek, a good writer, he talks about how you start to see this thing, and it's sort of attached to this money mindset of whether you think it's finite or infinite. In sales, they tend to call it an abundance mentality. And top performers in any sport, not just, we're talking finances because that's what it's about, but it could be about opportunities of all kinds. They tend to have this abundance mindset.
They do. Like we talk a lot. Eddie and I talk a lot. We work together. Like the tool shed's kind of a side hustle for us, but we work together, and we talk about it's really important to have a good competitor in your market.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really important to have somebody else that charges the prices you charge. You should boost that person up because it's an abundance mindset. It's not like we have to be cheaper than everybody else.
Yep.
Because there's not enough business out there. There's lots of business out there. They're just not using you if you have that type of mentality.
Here's what I love. Like Cynic talks about this. He talks about Apple and IBM, and it's certainly easier to talk about these big things. You know, when IBM, they didn't believe in desktop computers were going to be a thing. They were the big blue. They were like infrastructure technology. But once they saw the success, within 12 months, they threw a ton of money and actually poached away some engineers. Within 12 months, they had they launched a PC, a personal computer. And Apple, classy as ever, thinking an infinite game, thinking an abundance mentality, took a full-page ad in I think it was the New York Times, and said, "Welcome to the table." And they knew that this was an addition thing. They were thinking through, think about it, if you were the only game in town, how big would your distributor be? How big would how much supplies would they cover? And if you were the only person selling air conditioning or tankless water heaters, and nobody else was talking about it, you would have to carry that load yourself. But instead, like think when color TVs came out, people would go over and they're like, "Ooh, color TV, where'd you get that? Maybe I'll get one." And that's what competition does. And competition is healthy, and the customer ultimately wins. But here's how it's tied to money. If you go in and people say, "Oh, your price is too high," whether it's a full system, whether it's a part, replacement, whatever, and you don't have an abundance mentality, you see that as a loss. Because for someone it's a win-loss. There's only so much out there, and if I didn't get this one, and you start to believe, "Oh, our prices are too high," and the next thing you know, a week later, you're in your boss's office going, "I don't know what we need to do here. I'm not taking a pay cut, but you need to lower our prices." Right? And
that's a fact.
That shit don't float. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the best salespeople that I've ever been around, you could ask any of them, are our prices high? They would tell you, "No, we should raise our prices. We should raise our prices because they all make commission, right? They're all commission-based people, and the best ones will tell you, we should raise our prices. For what we're worth it because of the value. They see that value in themselves because they have that right, proper, positive mental mindset.
That's right. They understand that for what we do, we're the cheapest in town, and that's the key. For what we do, we're doing things, and you should earn that value. But here's the deal: if you want to think healthy, long-term, unlock the true power of a healthy money mindset, you need to understand that on your way to that call, whether it's a faucet replacement, air conditioner repair, roof call, you probably drove by 500 other houses that do exactly what you need. And if you don't get this one, you'll get it tomorrow. And this is where understanding your default setting, this is one of those things that eats your emotional reservoir and gives your families the leftovers because you're stressing. But instead, if you greet each customer with an abundance mentality, you're more than happy to show them stuff because if they don't go with it, that's okay. We'll get the next one. And because you're communicating in the present, you've left your mom in the truck. Thank you, Uncle Joe. And you're just giving options. All the pressure's gone. The communication pathway is clear. We're adult conversations. And guess what? All of a sudden, you start to have those good, easy customers that love your prices.
That's the way it goes, man. I was in sales for a long time. I did a lot of sales training, and my wife heard this message so many times that when I was in sales, sometimes I'd make a sale and I'd be all happy, and the next morning they would cancel. And I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I did all this work and now they've canceled."
It was a big one.
My wife would say, thank you, Sava Rollins. My wife would say, "Hey, just go get you another one. Just replace that one." Because she heard it that many times. And so it permeates into your home life and the other things you do.
Yep.
And sure enough, because things are going my way. I might not get one big sale like I got yesterday that canceled, but I'd get two that equaled that one.
Yeah.
Because it was all here. Like, you can drag that baggage around with you, or you can drop it, leave it, and let it go.
It's
right?
so interesting. When you talk about things like this, you quite often the recipient will, well, you're kind of making sense, but I don't know. I mean, but if we took this analogy and just fishing, if you were a fisher person, you threw your rod in the water. Fisher person? You threw, I don't know. This is also my golf stroke. If you threw your rod in the water, didn't get a nibble, went, well, no point fishing. People hate, and we think that was crazy. And yet we do that at work all the time. We bring all of this emotional baggage to it instead of thinking, yeah, we're going to
Okay, one,
oh, no.
You don't throw your rod in the water. But hey,
I think I know what I'm doing wrong. I thought it was an expensive hobby.
My father-in-law is a big fisherman.
Yeah.
I love going trout fishing with him, and he says they don't call it catching; they call it fishing.
Ah, there's the sound bite.
That is a solid piece of information, because we catch them, we're happy. We don't catch them, we catch them tomorrow.
It's about the process. It's about the process.
It's an abundance of trout
getting better
in that river.
every day.
Yeah.
And every time, remember, I love what you shared a few weeks ago. And again, we don't try and control the customer, we control the call. And that's all we're doing. We're helping people by sharing options. It's why sharing solutions after we've discovered the facts is so critical. But if you do all of it, and you only do,
you can be more valuable in the marketplace.
I'm just saying it's all connected.
If you're more valuable in the marketplace.
All right.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. Hey, honest conversations today in the Toolshed. And hopefully we didn't hit too many nerves. I get it. Sometimes, many of us had to overcome severe financial hardships. Totally get it. Some of us have maybe had it and lost it, and it's different. But the moral of the story is understand your thinking. Disconnect it, treat your customers the way they want to be treated by giving choices. So listen, really appreciate our entire team at Schedule Engine for putting this on. Couldn't do it without the fantastic people at Emerson providing this opportunity for Jerry and I to share and hopefully provide tools and make the job just a little bit easier. And Jerry, salutations.
Salutations. Hey, thanks for stopping by the Toolshed today. Be good, do good, go home safe. Love you. Thanks.
See you.